It's your girl Shy Gemini, and I'm coming back to you all with a recap for Queen Sugar. This is season 3, episode 5. So, I'm just gonna talk about the main things that really happened tonight and just go from character to character. So, I'm gonna start off though. I am gonna start off with the beginning of this one, however, with Blue and his mom Darla. So they're coming back from the field trip and they get in the car and they're talking about the trip and everything. And Blue asks Darla, "When are you coming home? Like, when are you coming home?" And she said, "Blue, we talked about this. Like, I'm staying somewhere else." And he was like, um, "You're gonna move back, I guess, before the wedding or whatever." So Darla's standing there looking stupid. And the next thing we know, we see Ralph Angel, and she texts Ralph Angel to let him know, like, "Look, we need to tell Blue what's going on, and that basically we're done. We're not going to be together." So when she drops Blue off, Vi, of course, gives her the cold shoulder. Because, Vi is still really not here for Darla. So she drops him off, and Vi takes him in, she leaves. So Ralph Angel, he actually got invited to his boss's house for dinner, and he's there, and the entire family is there. They have a big family, and they go off to do something, I don't know, but the daughter Trin comes in, and they're talking, and she's teaching him how to make some kind of dish. I'm not really sure what it was. I don't know if it was pot stickers or what. I'm sorry, I couldn't catch what they were saying, but she's teaching him how to do that. And then Ralph Angel looks over and sees a shrine, and she basically explained who those people were that was in that shrine. It was her father and her uncle. And she talked about how he rescued his family and brought them over to America, and they somehow ended up in New Orleans. Basically, that's where their roots have been planted, in New Orleans, and then they passed on. So they're talking, and you can see the connection between those two. Like, they're really vibing, they're getting to know each other, and I actually like them. I would like to see them try to develop some type of relationship. So when Ralph gets home, Benny, the parolee, is there waiting for him. And he like, "Man, what's going on? What are you doing here? Everything all right?" And he's like, "I don't have nowhere to stay." So Ralph was like, "What's going on?" I don't know what the guy was saying. I don't know if he was saying that another guy that maybe he had a run-in with was coming to the same house or what. But whatever his arrangement was, he can no longer stay there. Ralph like, "Look, you can stay here for the night, but you're going to have to find somewhere else to go. You got one night. I have a son. I can't be dealing with this." So the next day, Benny's on the phone making phone calls. And I'm like, I wonder if he's pretending to call people to try to find somewhere to go. But he's making calls to try to find somewhere to stay. So Benny asks Ralph, they're talking, and he's talking about his past and everything, and basically how he's trying to escape from it. So he asks Ralph, like, when he got out, how did he feel? Did he feel like he belonged anymore? And Ralph was like, in the beginning, it was rough. Him and his father had went to eat, and people were staring. And his father was like, "One day at a time, son. Just take it one day at a time." So that may help him cope with coming out of jail and trying to readjust and everything. So also, I forgot to mention Blue in Hollywood. No, actually, so while Blue was at Vi house with Hollywood, she's feeding him this food, this disgusting food that Nova has been, I guess, giving her. Food that's a little more healthier, but it's disgusting. So Hollywood and Blue sneak out to get some real food, like some nuggets and stuff. And they're talking, and Blue was like, "Do you and Vi plan on having any babies?" And Hollywood was like, no, we're not going to have any babies. You know, it's cool. And Blue was like, you know, that's fine or whatever. Because when my mother and father get married, they can have a baby. They're going to have babies or something like that. And Hollywood was sitting there stuck like, okay, son. So Ralph goes to work and he runs into Trent. And they're talking. And he basically asked her, hey, like, you want to hang out this weekend? And she's like, oh, no, I can't. But Ralph almost took it as she wasn't interested. She was blowing him off. But in reality, she really did have her weekend already planned out. So I'm like, calm down, Ralph. Like, she's interested. Trust me. I can tell she's interested, but she genuinely has something going on. So they are going to hang out on her next off day, which is Monday. So I'm like, I'm here for it. Even though Ralph, I think he's not ready and he's definitely not over Darla. I'm here for them because she seems like a sweet girl and she won't take advantage of Ralph. And for his fragileness, because Ralph Angel is very fragile, I feel like she's good for him. So, and again, Ava, can we work on Ralph's speaking? Like, he is whispering to the point where you have to listen and really try to figure out what he's saying. Like, I have to stop and figure out what he's saying. Can we fix that, please? I love you, Ralph Angel, but your accent is horrible. So I'm guessing the weekend comes, and Benny actually comes back to the farm to do some work. He had something he said he had to do that was extra or whatever. So Ralph asked him, like, you know, did you find anywhere to stay? And the guy said, yeah. And he named this particular place. And I'm guessing that's a dangerous area in New Orleans. So Ralph was like, you can't stay there. You'll definitely get back in trouble. So he offers for Benny to stay there. He said, of course, you got to follow my rules. I have a son, so it can't be none of the BS here. Benny was like, you know what, thank you. And he seemed appreciative. But I feel like he's running from something, and I feel like he is going to definitely bring some type of issue to Ralph Angel's home with his son. Then that could actually start a trickle effect with Darla and Blue. Like, I always think like that. I always go far into the future and predict what's going to happen. But yeah, even though I think his intentions are good, I don't trust him. So he's definitely, I feel like he's running from something. So Darla comes back over and they have a sit down with Blue and tell him, look, baby, we're not getting married anymore. We've decided to be friends, but of course, the usual, we still love you. You are the most important thing to us. Blue doesn't understand, of course. He's a kid. He wants his parents together. He's upset. He starts crying. Ralph is trying to reassure him, like, hey, buddy, it's okay. We'll still be fine. He asks to be excused. So he leaves, and then Ralph starts crying, and then he walks away. So he leaves Darla sitting there by herself to ponder and wonder and think about all of the crappy things that she's done to him. So that was very sad. I felt bad for Blue. I knew they had to eventually tell him because he just was not getting it. So we go to Nova. Ava. Hey, Ava. I don't like this. I don't like it. Nova is over at Charlie's house, and she's again trying to get her creative juices flowing. Remy is there, of course, because he's working the farm. So Ralph is like, when are you leaving? I guess Nova's getting on his nerve. He's like, when are you leaving? Or whatever. And she was trying to basically relax and get her mind right. And Remy was like, I know where you can relax. And he shows the fishing pole. And I'm like, here we go with the BS. Here we go. So they go fishing. When they get there, Nova's trying to take her laptop on the boat. And he's like, no, you're not going to do that. Absolutely not. So you can drop it in the water and then expect me to pay for it? I think not. Take this old-fashioned notebook and get the writing. Take your pen, or matter of fact, bring a pencil so if you make any mistakes, you can erase it real quick. and come on, let's go. So they go on the boat, right? So while they're fishing, they're talking about her article that she wrote on the board on those kids, and how basically people are looking at them and it's not right and things like that. And Remy tells her, that those kids need you. You're their guy, and Micah too, and they need her to be there and like be like a mentor or whatever for them. Like basically saying Nova's good for those kids. So, I'm like, okay. She catches a fish. They're all excited and happy, and I'm like, this is turning into like a date. Like, thought you all were just hanging out, but it's turning into a date. So after they catch the fish, they're sitting there on the boat talking, and I guess Remy is telling her about stories that Ernest told him about the relationship between Nova's mother and Ernest. And Nova was saying, I wonder what her life would have been like if she would have never became pregnant. Nova was like, she doesn't know basically if she could, be like her mom in that sense, because people are not going to talk her into things that she's not going to, doesn't want to do or whatever. So my take from that conversation is that maybe Nova mother maybe didn't want to marry Ernest, but because she got pregnant, she had to get married, traditional stuff. I don't know. But it seems like the mother couldn't really be who she was. She couldn't be free to be herself. And Nova could definitely never go down that path. So, and Remy asked, what does she mean about getting talked into things? And Nova was saying that in her past, whenever she would be with someone, they would want a piece of her, something, basically a piece of her that she couldn't give, and basically make her be someone that she isn't. And she didn't want to change to please anyone. She wanted to be her. And Remy says, she deserves to be with someone that wants her. Not the activist Nova, not the writer Nova, but just Nova. So, of course, that must have made her kitty cat jump because they kiss. And I'm like, ugh. Ava, what are you doing? Don't put them together. First of all, they don't look right together, and it's just foul. Her and Charlie, that's Charlie's ex. You're going to cause a rift between them, but I get it. It's for the storyline. I just didn't like that. I didn't like that one bit. So, we'll see how that goes. I don't see that lasting long because Nova is a free spirit, and she's going to get tired of Remy because he's soft. Micah has his friends at the house, and I would have reacted the same way Charlie did when she walked in. Because she walked in like, why is these little nigglets in my house? Like, she did not look pleased with them walking in, with them being there, but she did not react in the typical black mama way. Because a black mama will embarrass you in front of your friends. So she didn't give them that. I give her that. But she was just like, can I talk to you for a second? And one of the boys actually had the nerve to ask what a regular milk was. Because, Charlie's on her bougie, rich almond milk, not regular milk. You're like, what a regular milk? I don't want this nasty shit. So she was like, I don't have that. Davis calls. And Micah sees that it's him. He like, I don't want to talk to him. And Charlie's like, why you don't want to talk to your dad? So then, of course, on the phone, Davis asks, can he come back? She's like, okay, tomorrow's fine, whatever. So they're going to have their meeting. And I guess that's when he's going to drop the bomb on her that he had, the secret he has. So the next day, he does stop by. And as he's coming in, Micah storms out. He storms out. Don't say nothing to him, nothing. Charlie's like, what the hell is going on? Like, seriously. So Davis is like, I need to talk to you about something. 13 years ago, I had an affair. And from that affair, a child was born. Her name is Tia. Her mom is dead, but I'm going back to LA so I can raise her and take care of her. And Charlie's like, what? Like, what the hell are you talking about? And she was like, you know what? When did you hit bottom? And I took that as like, when is enough enough? Like, shit, every time I turn around, you got some shit going on, something else coming out. All these bones are just coming out the closet. I mean, just falling out. When is enough enough? Like, really? And she said, you know, the press is going to have a field day with this girl. And he said, her name is Tia. And I have a picture. She's like, oh, no, don't do that. Don't go down that road or whatever. And he gives her the old speech of, I know I've done you wrong, Charlie, but I've been a good father. A good father would be keeping your dick in your pants and being faithful to your wife and having respect for the mother of your child. That would be a good father, being a good example, you know. But who am I? I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, she is like really upset, and he's saying he'll make amends, and he promised Micah that he'll make it right. And she's like, wait a minute, you told Micah before you told me and left him to deal with that on his own? Like, get the hell out, Davis, get out. She kicked him out, and he's still like, oh, Charlie, no, like, Davis, you always got some shit. I said it last week, you always got some shit going on. Again, I'm with Charlie. When is enough going to be enough? Just put it all out there. Do you have any more children? Like, for real. So, of course, she's upset. That's like finding out he cheated all over again. Like, when she first found out. She's heartbroken. Even though they're divorced, I'm sure Charlie still has love for him. She loves him. So, that definitely hurt her. So, she's trying to call people. She's trying to call Ralph. She's trying to call Vi. She's even calling Nova, and they're at odds, but nobody's answering. But who so happens to text her? Jacob. And he asked to have a meeting with her. They meet at the bar, and they're drinking, basically, during this meeting. And, you know, they're talking and they're getting into their life stories. He's talking about his college days. She's talking about, I guess, her time on the farm with her father, whatever. And these hillbilly hicks or whatever walk up, and you could tell they sound like they was about to get into a conversation that maybe he didn't want Charlie to be privy to. So he buys them rounds of drink. Like, I'll buy you some rounds, guys. And they like, oh yeah, well, you know, that shut them up real quick, and they walked off. So Charlie and Jacob are at the bar, and Jacob asks Charlie to dance with him. And of course, you know, she's hesitant, like, no, I can't dance, whatever. And they're dancing to this really sappy, sad country song. And of course, Charlie is in her feelings because she's mad and upset and hurt about Davis. So after they're done there, well, before they leave, they're sitting there, and she's, I guess, trying to sober up. So they're drinking water. That's before actually they started dancing. So never mind. Yeah, I guess she's trying to sober up before he asked her to dance. So as they're leaving, they're standing outside talking. And of course, the usual, they're walking up, getting close to each other. And, you know, they kiss. And they have a really intense kiss until Charlie stops it like, no, I have to go. I have to get home to my son. And that was it. Like, she had to leave because she probably would have ended up at his house giving him something he could feel. So she left. Back to Micah, though. I want to talk about those kids and how they're going to, again, I keep saying, they're going to get Micah in a whole lot of trouble. Like, they have some sense, but their militant ways are going to definitely get them in trouble. So after, you know, Micah stormed off from Davis, he meets his friends, and they are going to this plantation because that's what their original meeting was about when they met at Micah's house, trying to put a plan of action together for, I guess, their next protest or whatever they got going on. So they go to this plantation, and they're sitting there, And while they're actually sitting there, Charlie's actually calling Micah. That was the first person she tried to call. She tried to call Micah to talk to him about what she just learned from Davis, but he didn't want to talk to her. He sent her straight to voicemail, but then text her like, I'm out with my friends, I'll be back later. So he's at this plantation with his friends, and they're sitting on some table or some chairs. And the guy walks up, and I'm guessing he works there, and he says, you can't sit there because that furniture is 250 years old. And the little smart mouth boy that asked about the regular milk says, well, my ancestors fought for the right to sit in this chair. So that's that. And then he also said, you got people taking pictures with shackles pretending to be slaves, and you mad at me for sitting in a chair that my ancestors built? And I was like, oop. For him to say that, it actually sent chills up my body, because I'm like, Ava, that is good writing, and that was like one of the best lines I've ever heard in a TV show, because it's true. And the guy was like, I'm gonna have to ask you guys to leave. And he said, oh really? He walked up, he trying to buck up with him. But then the other friend with more sense was like, all right, we leaving. So they leave. And after they leave there, they go somewhere, parked along the road somewhere in the car. And the kids are having a good time, and they're talking, but the smart mouth one is sitting off in another area, facing, looking out beyond, the scenery or whatever. So Micah, noticed that he's sitting there and he's looking a little stressed. And Micah's like, what's up? And he said, my brother is there. And they show and pan to this other place, and it's the actual jail. So his brother's in that jail. So I feel like they're going to take us down that road of maybe protesting the jail system, or I don't know, bring light to their incarceration system or whatever in New Orleans. So that wasn't the end of the show, but I wanted to talk about that because I felt like that scene alone, when they were at the plantation and they said that about that stuff being built by their ancestors, like, that was such a cool moment. But the show really ended with Charlie coming home, getting in the tub, and basically thinking and trying to get her thoughts together and calm down and just take in the day's events, basically. So it wasn't really, again, another episode where it wasn't like a cliffhanger ending to the episode. It just ended. But again, still a great show. I love this show. I love the writing. I don't like Remy and Nova. I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back. I don't like them together. I don't like that idea. And Ava needs to cut it. So, but that's it, guys. Another great episode of Queen Sugar, my fave. I can't wait till next episode, because I feel like Darla is going to be getting out of her body, and Ralph Angel is going to have to bring her down a peg or two, and I'm here for it. So that is it, guys. Thumbs up this video. Please like this video. Thumbs up. Share. Subscribe. Come on over to the party. I'm sure you'll have fun. I promise you will. And definitely, I will see you guys again for my next video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. I hope it goes by super fast, because I need it to go super fast for myself. And I will talk to you guys again soon. All right?